I'm a pussy, you're a pussy, he's a pussy, she's a pussy. Wouldn't you like
Would
to
you like to
be a
be a
pussy
pussy
too?
too?
This is Tales from the Crawl Space. I am Jack, and across the proverbial desk is the bourbon swilling, pussy hat wearing podcaster, Mr. Brad Harvey.
Jackson, my man, how are you today?
I'm doing quite well, my friend. How are you?
I am. I'm pretty good, considering. I saw a fly in my house today, and so I had to retreat into my safe space.
Yeah. I tell you, that happens. That does happen. I've had to burn down 3 prior abodes for having a spider.
That's
So
right. And being a pest control guy that I am, I had no one to call. I didn't know what to do. I was
I,
frightened. I am literally shaking right now.
hey, when there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you going to call?
Who you got to call? Bug
That's right.
busters.
Bug busters.
So, hey guys, pussy customers, man, and yeah, I'm wearing my pussy hat today in honor of our favorite customers. They are the pussy ones. They're
Hmm.
the ones that call on the phone and need you out there today, and they're just a joy to deal with because as when you're in the business as long as I have, I'm older than some of you. I mean, I've been in the business longer than some of you have been alive.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you what, man, the pussy customers are an eternal thing, and they were there when I first started. And they're still here now, and it's great. It just makes my ears wiggle whenever I get a phone call from a pussy customer because you got a sale in the bag, and they're you go in there, you're ready to rock, and you are always the hero. And that's why I'm wearing the pussy hat today because my cape is in the cleaners.
Well, I've found out, and I think this holds true for everybody out there doing pest control, running a route, is that the size of the pest is in direct proportion to the fear of the pest. So they could be
Mhm.
like a little tiny jumping spider sitting on your patio, and if the chick is afraid of it, it might as well be a fucking tarantula, like
Yeah,
a really big tarantula.
exactly. And that translates to the four-legged motherfuckers too, because every mouse is a rat, and you
Yeah,
know,
they are.
yeah. And when you're a pussy customer, God help you if you ever actually saw a rat, because you'd be wanting me to come in and do some treatment for dogs because yeah.
Oh, when I was working around Baltimore, that's about the size of them.
Oh,
They're
fucking
some
Baltimore!
gigantic ones, man.
I've seen things and video things, but because I've never been to Baltimore.
I know our
So,
friend Rick Wilhide will probably attest, or Cheesebag Rick Wilhide will probably attest to the fact that they're gigantic in Baltimore because he's
oh
running the
yeah, he is in
Northwest Baltimore
Bmore, isn't
route.
he?
Yep, he sure
Yeah.
is.
God, Rick Wilhide, he's a favorite cheese bag.
Yes.
So God help him because he does hail from Baltimore. I mean, that alone deserves our pity.
Well, speaking of favorite cheese bags, I want to say congratulations to Miss Candace Nordquist for passing her applicator's exam. Hot damn girl, you kicked it right in the penis. You took that
Absolutely,
test
right,
and kicked
right
it
in the
square,
penis.
right square in the penis. You kicked that test square in the penis. We're proud of you. That's awesome.
Oh, damn, that is
Con-
great. Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. Congratulations, Candace. You know we love you.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But you know what else we love?
What's that?
We love awesome hoodies and t-shirts and hats and everything. And if you go to pestdesigns.com, man, that guy has got the swag. I hate saying that word, but I can't think of another cool shirts. Got
Yeah.
got the swag that you want for Pest Control Humor Depot, for Tales from the Crawl Space. He's even got some for like fuck cancer type stuff, which I think is awesome.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, he
And
does. He's got some. I believe he still has some 1125 stuff left in his
oh
inventory or
yeah.
on his catalog. And the guy, the guy is one of. We've got two sponsors here on Tales from the Crawl Space, and of course we got Tony Spangler, who we will discuss later. But yeah, the pestdesigns.com. They this guy, the genius behind it is so creative.
Oh yeah.
The glove up cheese bags with the glove strangling the rat is probably no, it definitely is my favorite graphic um,
Yeah.
of
Oh
all
yeah.
time. And I've got the hoodie. Now, hoodie season has pretty much passed us by here in the Northern Hemisphere. Summer's coming. He's got a lot of great t shirts with the same designs on them. Give it a
Yep.
look. And, the prices are. Fuck it, season. You guys can fucking afford it. You're getting work. You're getting sales. You can spend a few bucks, man.
That's
Those
right.
prices are decent, and I mean, what's the point of being a cheese bag if you can't wear a T-shirt or something that says "I'm a fucking cheese bag"? Everybody else can go straight to hell.
Oh, speaking of wearing T-shirts, did you happen to see the magazine now is out that has Jenny Wilson and Jacqueline Levis in it, and Jacqueline's sporting the Tales from the Crawl Space shirt right there on in that big old picture front center in that magazine. I thought that was awesome.
Let's see: the invention of penicillin, the fall of the Berlin Wall, our victory in World War II, and that I have never been more happier to be a part of history than I was when I saw that.
Nah, it was awesome,
It was. I mean,
and we love those
gosh.
ladies. They're awesome.
You
All
know
three
what?
of the girls we had on the show.
Yeah, and I'd say my favorite episode, one of my favorite episodes, was when we had them all here.
Definitely. For sure. For sure.
Oh,
But on to the pussy customers. And like you
yeah.
said, the size of the pest is a direct portion of the fear of the pest. And I gotta tell you, I had a guy, and I've told the story before, but it's the first one that always comes to mind. His wife was so scared of this little tiny field mouse that she had
Mm-hmm.
running around her house that she went to stay at like the Ritz Carlton in a suite, and he was putting out money hand over fist for her to stay in this hotel because he couldn't get the mouse she believed was still in the house. They had me come out. I'm inspecting. I set traps out. I set some glue boards out and everything, and I'm getting ready to leave after inspecting and sealing up stuff with stuff it and everything. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Where are you going?" I'm like, I set traps and baits and stuff that should take care of it. I'll come back in a week and check. I'll follow up. No. You have to stay here until you get the mouse out of here. I said, "Sir, I'm not here to run down one single mouse in this house. That's not how it works."
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to go. I've got other customers. I've spent a lot of time here, and I was happy to do it, but I can't monitor your house all day for one mouse. I mean, see here with a pellet gun or something. It doesn't work like that. So I left. And by the time I got back to the shop towards the end of the day, I get a call from him. And he goes, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "My wife, like I told you, she's been staying in this ridiculously expensive hotel room and she won't come back to the house. Do you have a mouse, a dead mouse on your truck?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I got one in a snap trap." He goes, "Can you take a picture of you holding it?" I said, "I'm not going to tell anybody I got this out of you." He goes, "No, just take a picture of you holding it." So I,
What? It's like, who the fuck am I, Marlon Perkins?
so I took a picture of holding the snap trap with the mouse dangling, and I sent it to him.
Oh
I
shit.
I made no claims that came from his house whatsoever. He asked me
Mm-hmm.
for a picture holding a dead mouse. He
Yeah.
apparently showed that to his wife and said that I caught the mouse in the house, and she came back.
Nice. So, are you telling me you keep stock pictures in you kept stock pictures in your phone so you could do shit like that? Because that's what I do.
No, I didn't have stock pictures. I never thought to do that. I never
No,
thought to do it, but
I had
yeah,
to. I had to do that when I was at the Scarlet Letter. When we one of our big accounts was a large scale Prussian grocery store chain.
mhm.
They would their district managers would demand when we get a call for mice, we would have to go in and catch the mouse or mice and
The mouse,
mouse. It's like penis, only
Pinus,
about
mouse.
rodents.
That's the mouse.
and we would have to send them a picture of either the mouse in a trap or the mouse holding it or what the fuck, like it's Marlon Perkins, Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom bullshit, and
Mm.
we're just like, and so I kept, on the one time, the couple of times that I was at that store and I would I would catch something, I would take a picture of it. I would take several pictures, in different poses,
Mhm.
maybe change my glasses and shit. And I would do that. So when the need arose, I would be like,
Like one of Barker's
okay,
beauties.
yeah, exactly. The Barker's Beauty. Whenever, okay, you're driving and you're wanting to, like, somebody's wanting to turn left in front of you, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and you want to give them the right of way. Always give them the Price is Right gesture, and people love it. Usually, it's just like, you go ahead, go ahead. But if you give the Price is Right gesture, they love it, and they will laugh all the way making that turn. So the Price is Right gesture. This is for YouTube people only. Is you take your hand like this, it's down, and then you weave it across, and then halfway, when it gets to your face, you flip it over, and so you're like, yeah, exactly, yeah. Jack's got it down, and you do that, and they love it.
I'm just kind of like go that way. Here you go.
Yeah. No, yeah. Now, I like people to do that for me, so I just, well, there you go. And but anyway, but yeah, I always kept, because the Prussian grocery store chain, their district management was nothing but pussies. So yeah, so they would be like, I remember one time I had to go in there because there was a spider in the sales floor. One spider,
Oh,
one flipping spider, and
God forbid.
yeah. So that was probably one of my more interesting accounts at the Scarlet Letter, and it was great because I had the district manager. Then they had a pest champion, position where this was our go-to constantly for pest issues and stuff. And he
Right.
would get the call from the store. He'd call me. He'd be like, "Look, Brad, I know this is no big deal, but." And so I would have to drop everything and go take care of it. So, but so yeah, pussy residential customers pale in comparison to pussy commercial customers,
Well,
especially big corporate pussy commercial customers.
when it comes to mice, I did a place that um they're a big corporation. I can't say what they did is they bred genetically clean mice for things like cancer
You have
testing and
mentioned this
stuff.
account before.
And every time we caught something outside, because we'd had 10 cats right up against the building, and back before Bell Labs let the patent slip, let the registration number slip on contract blocks, you used to be able to put it around the fence line in an enclosed area.
Mm-hmm.
Now it has to be within 50 feet of a structure or 20 foot of a structure.
Yeah.
But back before, you could put it around the fence line. So we had tin cats next to each single lab area and incubation area had its own door to the outside. They were meticulous about how those doors were sealed, and that on each side of each door, all around these doors, tin cats around all of them. Then contract block baiters around the fence line, and we'd have to check them all. And if you caught anything, you had to take it inside because they wanted to find out if anything that was going to dirty the genetic pool was trying to get in, or if something that they had was getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd freak out every time we'd bring one in.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And they'd have to rush it back and they'd test it. And they were worried about whether they were going to contaminate like a whole herd of mice that they're breeding for testing.
Yeah, you don't want to get the genetics fucked up on that. That actually makes sense. Sounds like more of a pain in the ass than a pussy. But yeah, I mean, I get it.
Well, I guess it depends on who you take it into first.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
yeah.
got this from outside.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The person's behavior would be pussy, sure. But yeah, I understand that. My favorite pussies in the world are the big, swole, buff dudes. The ones that any other time they'd be like, yeah, bruh, bruh, and then they see like a mouse or something, and then they shriek like a fucking little girl. It's like, ah! And they're up on the table. Of course, they do it in one fell leap because they are fit, But, they're pretty efficient in their move from the floor to the table, lifting up their little gym shorts. It's like, oh, those are definitely my favorite. So And we got some stories tonight too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
Pest
do.
Control Humor Depot, my favorite group, um, came through in the clutch with some stories. And actually, one of my favorite cheese bags, Russell Crusade of Contempt Goswiller, pipes in with one. And let's give it a read, shall we? All right. He goes, I get a call from the office saying it's an emergency wildlife job, possible live animal removal. But they're not sure what exactly is going on because all the customer said is that he has a chupacabra locked in his garage. Okay, so tell them to go ahead and add to me. I go to inspect and see if it's in my ability to handle. I get to this house, and this guy looked like he played the entire defensive line in college. He was massively tall and covered in rock hard muscles. Big dude, deep voice, tells me that he has a monster in the garage. I'm kind of guessing possum, maybe a mad raccoon.
Chihuahua.
A chihuahua. A chihuahua.
A chihuahua.
A chihuahua. At the absolute worst, a coyote wandered in. I look into this empty garage and he points at an upside down flower pot. Now I'm thinking venomous snake. I kick over the flower pot and it's a fucking wolf spider. This giant mountain of masculinity behind me lets out a scream at a pitch just above what only dogs can hear. It's loud and pierces into my brain. And this hunk of man meat goes sprinting inside, still screaming like he's trying to call angels down. And he had actual tears running down his face.
Oh my God.
God, I love it. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about, Russell. You know, it's like the bigger they are, the harder they scream. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed one thing in this thing. It was the last sentence he put in there, and the last sentence is a fucking wolf spider.
That's exactly how the conversation would go in the shop. After you tell that whole story, you go, dude, a fucking wolf spider.
You know what? I've got a pussy technician that is speaking of screaming. You know, and the video actually made it onto Pest Control Humor Depot a couple years ago.
Right.
And you know, they're dealing with some bats on a porch. There was one, I believe, if I remember this correctly, the bat was like sitting kind of on a railing on the porch.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sitting there, and they were trying to catch it or get it out of there or whatever. And they got close to it with whatever they were using, and the bat flew off, and this dude screamed like a prom date, who's like a prom queen whose date was going in dry.
Oh, give him a dry knuckle.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I know this dude. The dude worked for me at Scarlet Letter, and he's a Marine. And, you know, he's, you know, the guy's hard as nails, but apparently not so much hard as nails when it comes to bats. So, yeah. But, yeah, Mr. F, thank you very much for that story.
Well, I got to tell you, I saw where the husband was more of a pussy than the wife was.
Mm-hmm.
This family down in Maryland, just outside of D.C., had this basement, and everything was platinum white in the basement. The carpet, the upholstery, everything was platinum white with like silver accent and mirrors and stuff. And they had like a platinum white poodle, and the poodle was the bravest thing in the house. They had a mouse. I think it came in around in the sump pump line, and they heard it rustling around in the closet. They had like the bifold doors closet, so they open up the bifold door. The dog goes charging in, and you hear a squeak when the dog bites down on this thing. And the dog starts doing this and flings it, and it starts. Yeah. You're seeing it in slow motion. This mouse is doing this slow tumble with this perforated body, leaking blood all over this platinum white stuff in the basement. Before that mouse hit the ground, the husband was up the steps and in the living room going, and the woman is screaming at a pitch that would make Mariah Carey sound like James Earl Jones.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
My ears are starting to bleed. It felt like my ears were going to bleed. This mouse landed with a plop on the white leather couch. And
Mm-hmm.
the dog was all about it, jumped up on the couch because there's blood on the dog's muzzle. That was on the couch. The mouse was bleeding on the couch. The dog was grabbing it and doing this on the couch. So the whole place looked like a murder scene in the basement. And the husband is upstairs doing the quick little, with his little feet dancing around.
Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, I love it when people start tap dancing when they're scared. It's freaking awesome. Oh man,
That dude was fast.
yeah. Thing about pussy customers is sometimes it's not just the. I want to interrupt this real quick. I want to show you. This is the last bourbon I have in the house, right here in the glass, and
Uh-oh.
now it's gone. What the hell am I going to do? Oh, I know. Thank you, Candace, for recommending Bumbu Rum.
Bumbu.
So we're switching over now. This stuff. Let me tell you about Bumbu Rum real quick before we go into the next. Before I diverge into the chemical story. Bumbu Rum is really unique. It's like it's rum like you would think. It's buttery. It's got it's buttery. It's got a lot of complex rummy type flavors. Comes from the the delicious molasses that they make rum out of and everything.
Oh yeah.
It tastes. It's smooth. There's not a single bite to it. You take this stuff and you mix it with Coca-Cola, you are in for a surprise because it tastes exactly like juicy fruit gum when you do that.
Oh.
Yeah. It's I discovered that a couple of weeks ago, and I was trying to mix, see what it would taste like, because rum and Coke is one of my passions back in my old days,
right?
Before I discovered the beauty that and wonderment that is bourbon, and I tried it and I was like, I can't fucking believe it. And I had to get verification because I thought maybe it was my taste buds. I gave the glass to my wife, my beautiful bride Ellen, and she took a drink of it and she goes, "Wow, that's something else." So if you haven't tried Bumbu Rum, it's recommended by such noted cheese bags as Candace Norquist, Jack Starry,
yes,
and William the Merciful Huth. I would say definitely give that a try. And if you get a wild hair up your ass, throw some Coke in it. You won't be disappointed.
The kind you drink, not the kind you sniff.
Exactly. Yeah, the kind you drink. I guess the kind you sniff. If you're going to try it, let us know how it works out.
Yeah,
if you survive the experience. But anyway,
last time I tried to snort Coke, I almost drowned, and I cut my nose.
Last time I snorted Coke, I felt like God, so I never did it again because I didn't feel like I could handle the responsibility.
Oh
shit! So anyway, pussy customer, fears don't just stop at the pests that we control, the chemicals.
Oh yeah.
That is one of the things that I've certainly everybody has run into. Is this safe to breathe? There's always a favorite one. You got Mamaw sitting there with her Salem cigarette, drawing into there and worrying about breathing in the pesticides. You've got I'm worried about my children. I try to keep it organic, keep them exposed to organic products as much as go fuck you. You're the one that called me about the ants. I'm throwing some fucking neonicotinoid out there to wipe those ants out for you. I'm sorry. Yeah. And back to the Salems. Yeah. Yes. Neonicotinoid. Yeah. It's perfectly safe for you to be around. But I don't want any pesticides in my house. We have one guy that he wanted a pest control treatment, but he didn't want us to spray inside, which is fine. I can do just as good a job getting rid of your bugs on the inside by treating the outside. But for fuck's sake, dude, let me treat the shit on your porch already. Right. Oh, he didn't even want that because he was afraid somebody was going to step in it and track the chemicals into his house. And then he's going to have to fucking tear the house down and build another one or something. I don't know. But this guy, it's like I did his initial service. I did what he wanted to. I avoided the porch. I went hard and heavy around everything else, and he was cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
The second guy that went in, the notes that we weren't to treat the porch were not accurately recorded in the system. So when the second guy went out, this guy treated the porch, and it was honest. The guy was doing his job or what he thought it was, and so it was like the third time the dude had crime scene tape around his fucking porch so we wouldn't treat it.
What? Jesus Christ.
Yes, I shit you not. Somewhere in my phone there's a picture of it. I'll try to find it. But yeah, the guy's like, he had that yellow tape all around his fucking porch so we wouldn't treat it.
Now, what I hate about that kind of thing is you get these sales bastards. Oh, we can do an organic service so it's completely safe for you and your family, your kids and your pets. Unless you're putting down IC3, all the actual pesticides, organic or not, are all engineered to kill something.
Yeah.
So I've had people ask, is that sprayer that you're using, have you used only organic material in that sprayer? Oh, sure, lady. Yeah, of course we have. That's all that's for. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
I was like, it's like organophosphates. It's got organo in the name of it. It's like, yeah, it's organic, man. And also people. It's like, yeah, is it organic? And it's like, yeah, it's organic. So are these. I pull out a pack of Marlboro. That was back when I smoked. It's like, I think things should be all natural. Well, these are natural. This is naturally grown tobacco. It's they take it, they hang it, they dry it, they toast it, all in a completely pesticide free environment that we know about.
That's why you need those American Spirit cigarettes, man. Those are all natural. Come on,
American
they are. Spirits.
No,
nothing like paying twice the price for basically the same thing.
Well, see, you know what? If I was to smoke again, I'd probably try Lucky Strikes because they're toasted.
And Lucky Strikes means fine tobacco.
That's right.
Well, I gotta help you out here. See?
Does it still say LSMFT on it? LSMFT, right on.
It sure does.
Yeah, that's code for those people who still smoke.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I don't smoke anymore, but damn it, sometimes the smell of a freshly lit cigarette kind of ignites me a little bit.
Hey, when you leave your partner's genitalia smoking and you roll over, sometimes it's nice to light up a Lucky Strike.
I'm sure it is.
Leave them smoking, you smoke yourself.
They're not smoking, they're smoldering.
Smoldering.
Yeah, see, you got to call it smoldering because it sounds sexier. That's right.
Well, speaking of smoldering, Candace Norquist sent in a story for us. She goes, I got my pussy customer story for you. Doing the regular service at one of our apartment complexes, the maintenance guy walks up to Brandon and says, "Hey, I need to show you something and tell me if it is what I'm thinking it is." They walk off and I hear Brandon go, "Fuck, what unit?" Brandon walks past me and says, "We got roaches. I'll be back." He inspects the unit and sure enough, it's Germans. She tried to say that they were just beetles. Anyway, we do our initial treatment a few days later. Our first check, a week later, they're dying down. She proceeds to tell us that when she sees them running across the wall, she smashes them. As soon as she says this, one runs by her on the wall, and she screams at the top of her lungs, throwing her hands in the air and just literally freaking out like her feet are on fire. I tell her to get out and let us do our job. She eventually got evicted because she stopped letting us in, and every time she had to vacate, she took her PlayStation with her and reinfested the house upon her return. I've seen that, and I've talked to people like rent centers that guy from rent centers. Man, I hate when we get TVs back from those neighborhoods, man, because we sit them down and then all the roaches come pouring out of them. So
Yeah.
they love that kind of thing. It stays nice and warm back in those electronics, and it's all
Exactly.
hidden and stuff. And so she had an infested PlayStation. She'd take and bring back, take and bring back.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember having to do Rent a Center when I worked at the Big Green Tea, and yeah, it was a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Returns would just the bitch. And when I was at the Scarlet Letter, I would have to do. We had this one large operation that was basically shipped textbooks to school systems and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they also shipped in old laptops that the back in during the days of yore during the COVID plague. Kids were they passed out laptops to all the kids.
Right.
These laptops would come back when the kids were done with them, and they would be infested with cockroaches and bed bugs. And yeah, it was a pain in the ass. And because you're always getting new equipment in, and are always having to freaking deal with it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the Scarlet Letter sadly did not use Apprehend. It would have been a perfect. I don't know if it would have been a perfect situation for Apprehend now that I think about it, but um, I mean, they if they crawl out of the machine and get into a crack and crevice where we treat it with Apprehend, yeah, I think it would probably do some good. Um, Apprehend. I'm sorry, I have to diverge, but damn, it was great talking to Doctor Jenkins, wasn't
Nina, yeah.
it?
Talking to Nina, yeah. It was.
Nina. Paula Jenkins.
Well, I'll tell you, but like with roaches and bed bugs, when I worked for the second largest school system in the country, I'd get paranoid calls from school admin saying, "Oh my God, we got bed bugs in one of the classrooms." Well, these kids, God knows the kind of houses they're coming from, but like they'll bring the lunchbox and open it up, roaches come out of it.
Mhm.
They'll bring their clothes and throw their coat in their cubby, bed bugs. And I dealt with a lot more roaches and bed bugs in classrooms than I ever thought I'd had to.
Isn't that
And
something? Yeah.
the parents are scared to death. And I mean, we get there when the kids are leaving school, and say you get a parent coming out late, and I'm walking in with a B&G. They're like, "Oh my God, what problem? Where's the problem?" Like, not
Hmm.
just a standard maintenance. We're just making sure we keep up the cleanliness of the schools like we
Yeah.
always do. When
Yep.
I know I got a classroom full of bed bugs, and
Yep.
then you get people saying, "My child has lice. Can you spray our child?" No, 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 I can't
No.
spray your child.
No. Nope. How about you take your child to the doctor and get a prescription for some Quell lotion or something? It's like I always fall back on ants, um, because people see ants and they're just like they're fucking ants.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so if somebody directly asked me what are you treating for? I said they have ants in there. So I mean, because I will always be right because everybody's got ants. I
True,
could go around
true.
my house and I could find at least one ant, right? And it may be laying dead and it may have been there for 4 years, but there's a fucking ant in my house. Um, and so I always fall back on ants. Ants are for 99% of the populace, ants are not a big deal.
No.
Yeah, they're a nuisance and everything, but and most pussy customers are not really triggered by ants. It's usually the other stuff, chupacabras, pernicious canids, heffalumps, and woozles, that kind of stuff. But ants are just like, yeah, they're ants. Yeah, they're pissing me off. Get rid of them. Everybody's a badass when it comes to ants. Nobody's like, oh my God, there's an ant. So I always fall back on the ant, the ant equation. There's like, yeah, what are you treating for? Ants. Oh, okay. Yeah, right on. Get them.
Well, that's it. But everybody's a pussy. Almost everybody. Not us pest techs, but you get a good bald faced hornet's nest. That'll pull the spine right out of some people.
I
Uh,
am I am stoked because bald face hornet nests are only a couple months away
it's that
out here
time of
in the
year.
Midwest.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, it's getting
But I got to
there.
tell you, I had a right off the baseball diamond. There's this fence to this little berm and this fence in the berm, and this damn bald-faced hornet's nest was in the chain link on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And this big old burly maintenance guy's walking behind me, and I'm a big dude, and this dude made me feel small. And he's walking behind me, and I'm like, you might want to stop there. Just right where you're at. He goes, well, you're getting up close. I said, well, I got to take care of the nest. I didn't have a suit on. Like I said, I worn a bee suit 2, maybe 3 times in my entire career. So I just walk right up to it, and he's about maybe 25 feet away. And as I'm looking at it and trying to figure out if there's more than one hole, what's going on, how I'm going to attack it, he starts inching a little bit closer. I'm like, dude, back up. I'm telling you, back up. Oh, man, I'll be fine. I've seen these before. All right. Okay. I said, you allergic? No. All right, good. Something
You will be.
You're going to get nailed. I'm going to laugh at you. So I took some wasp X, and I love that stuff because it foams up when it hits wasp X.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that right in the hole, and I blocked them in, and man, I jammed my other stuff in and started going through the side of the nest. And man, they broke out of that nest and went nuts. I stepped back like slowly, took like 3 big paces back, and just stood there.
Oh shit!
And they just started coming around me, and then moving off. The dude starts swiping his hands around and takes off running. And it's just, and watching it, it's like watching that cartoon where the bees would like form like the shape of an arrow and like jab you right in the ass as you're running away. I was watching this cloud of them follow him as he's running. I mean, all I saw was asses and elbows. This big, massive dude, I'm just standing there going, I fucking told you, dude. I just laughed, just shook my head. It's like, how many times can I tell you to get back? Just stay back. Nobody wants to listen.
Yeah, and I try to educate, and I hate this word because it's like bannered around. You need to educate the customer. Yeah, fuck that. But actually, when it comes to stuff like this, I kind of want to educate the customer, but telling them that look, you when you run into a bee situation or a stinging insect situation, the one thing you don't want to be is one of those inflatable people that you see in oil companies, doing that shit. You just want you don't want to be afraid. Don't be a pussy around stinging insects.
No.
Respect their behavior. And you do that, you're going to be probably fine. You may get stung once, but that's it. Maybe twice. Yeah. But you always respect their behavior. I myself, I've got a confession to make. I have become a bit of a pussy in my old age, and I am donning a bee suit, but only for stuff like yellow jacket, big ass yellow jacket nests late in season, the ones that you can't predict, bald-faced hornets, and honeybee nests that cannot be retrieved and saved. Those are the only instances I will wear a bee suit. Your paper wasps, your shit like that, early season yellow jacket. Nah, I'm not gonna fuck with it.
European
hornets. No.
Okay.
European hornets are extremely docile. I mean, if you are not like going in there in beast mode, you could pretty much put your hand up to now I'm not recommending anybody do this, okay? But I'm just saying, this is just anecdotal. So you can put your hand up there at the hole, and they will crawl out on it, and everything's cool. They're just like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And that. But you try to fuck with their nest, they're going to defend it,
and it hurts.
Exactly, and you want to be respectful of their behavior, and that goes with any stinging insect.
Of course,
respect their behavior, learn their patterns and stuff like that. Yellow jacket nests, if I have the proper equipment, which, I'm looking forward to getting later in the season for the yellow jacket nests.
You mean your dust stick? You mean your dust stick?
Fuck that dust stick. Oh, fuck that. Jack, damn it. Why do you gotta pick that? You go picking scabs.
That wound almost healed, and I done picked the scab up.
Yep, absolutely. Now it's weeping, and I got to put fucking
mercurochrome
on it. Yeah, I got blow on it.
Tincture methylate.
Methylated mercurochrome. Put that little red shit on there and blow on it. Oh fuck! But anyway, no. Birchmeyer makes an awesome fucking piece of equipment for shit like that. It's like a B&G. I think we talked about this in the
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the 6-legged motherfucker episode. You pump it up like a B&G, and it's got a long tube. You get in there and blast it. I was doing full on full population yellow jacket nests with that fucker without a bee suit, and it's just you pump it up, give it about 50 strokes, get in there. All right, thank you, sir. That'll be $250, and I'm driving on. But anymore, bald-faced hornet nest. Yeah, I'll wear a bee suit. I donned the bee suit for the first time today.
Oh.
I was at a church on the south side of Indianapolis, and it was a stinging insect service, and I was just like, they got a wasp nest or something hanging up. No, basically, what happened was. There are beekeepers around the area, and a colony budded. The queen took off. A bunch of the workers went with her, smelling her little bee pussy, and she found she rested up on this brick wall at this church, and lo and behold, she found an opening. She went in there, and all the fuckers followed her, and so she was in there, but it was brick and metal, and it could not be retrieved. Usually, I will, if you've got one that's easily retrievable, you want to notify a beekeeper and get all that shit out. The guy, it was the landscaper, the person that takes care of the lawn maintenance and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that was freaking out, and so he's like, keeping he was like 200 feet away when I was treating it, which is actually maybe not pussy, but smart,
Right.
Because I was going to go in there and I was going to bring the pain, but I did go ahead and slip my bee suit on there because that way I can get up close and personal with it. A can of pyrethrin and some dust. Maybe a little bit of non-repellent foam in that. So I took care of it. I went back to him and I said, "Look," I said, here's the deal. The queen is dead, but the workers that are out working, coming back, are not really pleased. And
Right.
so it's going to be, well, how long is it going to be? I said, look, it's going to be probably about 7 days. We always estimate big, so so they're not disappointed, and because actually in a few days it'll probably be gone. But he's like, well, what am I going to do? I said, you already mowed today, right over in the area. You already cut the grass. Everything looks good. You don't have anything on day 8. Give me a call if you're still seeing them.
Right.
So but yeah, this episode is starting to feel like an extension of the stinging insect.
It is.
But,
well, that's the thing. It's the thing that people are most scared of generally. But have you ever dealt with those, what they call them, minor bees? These little brownish wasp-looking things that like dig in the ground. They're not solitary.
We call them digger bees.
Digger bees. We call them minor bees out these coasts. But and they're harmless. They don't even care that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
That's how harmless they are. And I had a bunch of kids at an elementary school that were scared to death, and they didn't want to have to go out front to get on the bus thinking these things were going to attack them and kill them. And I was explaining that there's a treatment I could do for them, and that's fine. But some of them are going to still be hanging around, so I want to show the kids that they're harmless, that they don't even care that you're there. Mm-hmm. So I went into the library, I grabbed a book, like a Sesame Street book, and I went out to the patch of grass in front of this gigantic picture window in front of the school, and I laid down to the middle of them, kind of lounged back with this little book, this Sesame Street book. And all the kids were at the glass like, oh, my God. I mean, there's hundreds of these things flying around. They don't even know I'm there. They don't care. They're not bothered by me. And these kids are like, I'm like, see, there's nothing to be scared of. They don't want anything to do with you. It's okay. And I see you're drinking out of a Tony Spangler tumbler there. What's that there?
With that, this is the wonderful Tony Spangler tumbler. I would like everybody to know that I'm drinking an iced tea chaser with my rum, which actually isn't too bad. And the ice that is in here has been in here since 2 o'clock, and it is Eastern Daylight Time, and it is now 8:07 Eastern Daylight Time, and I still have ice in this motherfucker.
Well, damn.
And the reason being is because of this cold bastard right there.
Look at that.
Just the image alone is just so cold that it keeps the ice nice and preserved in there. And
ice, baby.
Yeah, and, exactly, ice, baby. And but I'll tell you what, and one of the other reasons it stays cold is because there's even a colder image right there.
Look at that motherfucker. Look at that motherfucker right there.
Yeah. But the coolest image of all, right there, buddy.
Yes, sir.
TCHD, my favorite group, is on there. Tales from the Crawl Space podcast, it's on there. Tony Spangler makes probably the best fucking tumblers I've ever seen. I mean, there are plenty of people out there that are rolling these sublimation tumblers out. But damn it, the designs this guy comes up with. This, I mean, it's not just this. I mean, he can do pretty much anything. He's got, in this day of AI, any image that you can dream of, he can make for you and put it on a tumbler that keeps your eyes cold. And I mean, the stuff that he makes is cool. It's interesting. It's beautiful. Sometimes it's sexy.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
hey baby,
this is my girl. And First Lady of Pest Control Humor Depot, my favorite group.
Did you know that Tony just rolled out he's gonna, I think it's this whole series of the Dios de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, with like the skull painting on their face and everything.
Hell yeah,
he's got some cool ones.
Sugar skulls, I think they call them. Yeah, sugar skulls. Is that what they call them?
Yeah, but it's like a good looking girl with like the face paint on it and some designs around her and stuff. It's nice. I think he just rolled those out today. He posted one of them on the Spangler Art page.
Oh yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, definitely. And in the words of Michael Sheridan, wood. 10 out of 10 wood.
Or was it schwing?
Yeah. 10 out of 10 wood, rubber bottom.
Rubber bottom.
Yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that every Tony Spangler tumbler from SpanglerArt.com comes with what, Jack?
A stainless steel urethral sounding rod. Surgical
quality. Yeah, that's right. Surgical quality, which means you can run this through the autoclave that you have in your sex dungeon just to keep things safe. And it's perfectly 100% infection free.
And you can slide it right up in your penis.
Right up in your penis. That's right. Yeah.
But didn't you say? Oh, I actually, I got to tell you, I have a reverse pussy customer story for you. It's actually really good. I want you to hear it.
Okay.
Brian Raby, newer cheese bag, was getting caught up on the episodes. Welcome, Brian.
Welcome.
Has pussy customer story. I have maybe a different perspective on this topic, or at least a situation that caused me to look at customers that have extreme reactions a bit differently. Not too long ago, I was an area manager for a large company in the greater Detroit area. I can't read for shit, and I'm drinking water. We were notified of a large retail contract takeover, and the ones in my territory were overrun with mice. Up until this point, I had a very negative opinion of adults that scream and cry over rodents, but after working with these individuals for weeks to get the situation under control, one of them broke down and told me why all the managers and many of the staff were scared to death of rodents. They were mostly of the same age, ethnicity, and background, and according to her, they all grew up poor and surrounded by rodents in their homes, or at the very, very least, repeatedly told horror stories of their parents' youth being in that situation. I have since come to realize that most pest-related phobias are based on childhood trauma, and I try to have a more empathetic reaction when confronted with them.
Fuck empathy.
No, I can appreciate the story though, because I can definitely see how that could be the case for sure.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Wow. But yeah, as far as As far as childhood traumas, yeah, it definitely childhood traumas make us a lot of money. I mean, to be
Oh
honest
yeah,
with you,
yeah,
I
they do.
mean, because it's if it wasn't for that, I had a friend that was stung by bees. They buried him without his glasses, and he couldn't see without them. There's things like that. I mean, it's good for us because it's good for business. But sometimes you just got and we're not psychiatrists, so we're not going to be able to take care of anything, of everything for people.
Right.
But the biggest victories that I have is when I can go into a customer's house who is a pussy and come out with him not being a pussy anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
rare, but it does happen, and it's probably the coolest part of the job. One of the coolest parts because you feel like you made a difference. You made a difference in somebody's life. So if you can depussify somebody there, put their mind at ease, things like that. That's great stuff right there. I mean, you know,
Depussified.
depussify. That's right. Turn them from simpering pussies into iron men
Manly
and
men.
manly men and manly women. And, somebody like my wife. It's like a lot of and I'm not trying to be a misogynist here, even though I am wearing a pussy hat. So this is my get out of jail free card. Um, you know when you get one like my wife, my beautiful bride Ellen. A lot of women are like, yeah, 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 not mine. My wife is, when she sees a bug, it is, let loose the profanities and start stomping. And yeah,
Old school.
she's awesome. She is totally
That
awesome.
is awesome. Yeah,
And
she is.
my daughter, Mo, I wish I could say the same thing for her. Usually, whenever she sees a bug, she's calling me and saying, "What is this? What can I do about it? This is in my
Mm.
house." Yada yada yada, and it's what it is. But
Didn't you have
hopefully, she'll
a?
come around.
Didn't you have a? You? I think you told me earlier this week you had a "You Could Suck It" story.
I do, but first, I have another pussy
Oh, you do.
story.
Oh, yeah,
I
please,
do.
by all means. Good, good, good.
Absolutely. Scotty Grill, a longtime cheese bag, pipes up with a submission for the Pussies episode of Tales from the Crawl
Nice.
Space. He goes, there was this time that I got a call from a guy who moved his family to a hotel because they had mice in the house and wouldn't go back until they were all caught.
That
That
sounds
rings
familiar.
familiar. That does ring familiar. He couldn't risk the lives of his children.
The lives, Black Plague in their house, apparently.
Because we all know how those mice live to eat little kids.
Oh yeah,
So
there's
he
your
meets
childhood
me.
trauma.
Oh yeah. So he meets me at the house. Wouldn't even go in, but opens the door. I do my thing. I inspect, set traps, blah blah blah. I only found a couple of mouse turds behind the stove. I then explained to him that chances are it was just one mouse, but he wasn't buying it. He insisted that I return every day to check on my mouse traps, even after telling him that it usually takes a couple of days and that it's tougher to catch one mouse than a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple of days go by, no mouse. He then asked me if I knew what I was doing, which only hiked the
Oh
price up higher.
man, yeah,
Which
yeah.
only hiked the price up higher. Though that I'm gonna print that out and put that on the wall in my office. You know, ask me what I know what I'm doing. It only hikes the price up
That's
higher.
right. It's gonna cost
You
you
know?
now.
Okay, but there's a silver lining. On day 3, I caught the mouse. Couldn't help myself. I pretty much stuck the snap trap with my trophy right in his face. Naturally, he's falling all over himself to escape. He goes, yeah.
Parading it around.
He
Look
goes,
at that guy.
yeah. Scotty goes, yeah. That was satisfying. 3 more days go by. No more mice. I have done the exclusion work, so I pretty much shut the door. That next morning, he complains to me about the cost of keeping his family at a hotel and eating at restaurants. That is, that goes in the not my fucking problem file
That's
right
right.
there.
That's an SEP. That's somebody
Yeah.
else's problem.
Yep. For the 100th time, I suggested that he might be overreaching a little, and there was never a threat. But what do we know?
Oh God, we're only pest professionals. We have no idea.
Exactly. And then he pipes. He added a little something something to it, and he goes, "Almost forgot the best part." He asked me if I cleaned up the mouse dropping behind the stove. There were maybe 3 of them. No, that's not what I do. I reply. Then who's going to get rid of them? I told him. I told him a cleaning service. He thought that was a great idea. What a pussy, Scotty. That story is epic, man. Please, 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 please remember that we exist and send us more stories. You are definitely a weaver of a elaborate tapestry, and we'd like to hear more from you, Scotty.
Well, I just have to say this. While you were reading that story, I got a message on Facebook Messenger from one of my favorite cheese bags, Edwin Valerio. Okay.
Uh huh.
So, Edwin, this is for you. Yes, we have a show tonight. Yes, I will be uploading a show tonight. We're not done recording it yet. Love you,
Oh, for
Edwin.
fuck's sake, is he wanting the show already?
Yeah, he is. I admire his enthusiasm. I truly do.
Patience, young Padawan. Patience.
I'm just picking on you, buddy. Yeah, we're doing it. I'm recording it right now. So now you know when you sent the message what I had to say about it.
Okay. All right. I am going to. Okay. Tonight's You Suck It story comes from no other than the company of William the Merciful.
Ooh.
And, okay. Um, we're going to talk about realtors for a second. And basically, how I'm going to do this is I'm going to read the chain of texts that we have a mass text that we. It's basically the shooting the shit, box that we, when we're out in the field, everybody's in it. I'm in it. Stephen Rogan's in it. Gribble's in it. Princess Alexis is in it, and
Right.
William the Merciful, of course. We had this picture that came in of, I don't know if you can see it really well, but it is a house that we were doing a WDIR on, and right there is the Whitestown, Indiana Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a little backstory on this. The we were supposed to do a WDIR on this house. Now we are contracted through a home inspection company that does not have anybody with a termite license that they can do the NPMA 33 for sales of homes, refinancing, etc.
Right. Right.
So they contract this out to us, and we do it for them, and they pay us through that. Um, the technician inspector in question texts along with this picture. Why did this realtor just call the cops on me?
What?
And yeah, and so I said this is the one I had problems with on Tuesday. Now Tuesday, this last Tuesday, I went out there and to do the WDR, but apparently it was misscheduled by the inspection company. We were actually supposed to be out there on Thursday instead of
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. So, all right, honest mistake. I get it. I just got back in my truck and went on to my next adventure. And so we have, seriously, you look shady. This is from William.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, hey, he was just breaking balls. He goes, we're the inspect the inspection company. We like to have them on site when we're doing the wood destroying reports. And they said there were, and I put in my 2 cents and said, Jesus Christ, I hate realtors, which I do.
Right.
And so apparently it says, so what happened was when I was there on Tuesday, I called the inspection company because there was a lockbox and the inspection company was not there yet.
Right.
Most of the time, if the inspection company doesn't make it on time, I can always call them, get the lockbox code, get in, do the inspection, and everything's good. So I ring the doorbell, which of course is a Ring doorbell because everybody fucking has those now. And then the homeowners actually didn't know that we were coming that day because again it was misscheduled. I hope everybody's keeping up with this. So I basically got my ass chewed out on Tuesday through a ring device, which is always
Oh,
fun.
Jesus.
Yeah. Thursday rolls around. The inspector gets in there. He hits the ring thing. Apparently, the homeowner and the realtor are somehow related, mother-in-law, whatever. She goes, "You have to call my daughter-in-law to get the code."
Right.
So the inspector calls the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law says, "I don't know who you are. I'm not giving you the code. You need to call the inspection company." And then calls the goddamn cops. So meanwhile, inspection company van rolls up. They get in and do the service, or he does the inspection, and then then the cops show up. So it's
Right.
like, the cops are like, Jesus Christ. They apparently hate realtors just as much as I do. And so it was just basically a big pain in the ass. Peter's not telling Paul what the fuck's going on, and the realtor basically just jumped the gun, called the cops because either she's a dumbass or she's a pussy. So
Mhm.
Kimberly Loya of Century 21, you could suck it.
I tell you what, I hope that your butthole itches so bad, but only when you're in front of prospective buyers. I hope you walk into that brand new home to show it and your asshole itches so bad you just have to reach back there in front of this family and start digging in your booty hole. That's what I hope for.
I hope every initial walkthrough of a potential client, a bed bug climbs up your fucking leg and you take it home.
I hope that every time you open your purse to hand someone your business card, a used condom falls out. That's what I hope for.
I hope every WDIR you get from now on is misscheduled.
I hope that every prospective buyer tracks dog shit through every one of your houses.
I hope your house gets broken into. You call the cops to help them out, and they remember what you fucking did crying wolf, and they don't do a fucking thing for you.
Or they get tired of it, lock your ass up.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You can suck it. You can suck it.
Yep, you can suck it, Kim. Golly. So what are we doing next week, Jack?
I think I'd kind of like to go back to throw it back to the listeners and do an Ask Us Anything episode. Doesn't matter what the question is, far-fetched, technical, stupid, talking about Brad's sexual prowess, anything. Whatever questions you want to ask us, and we'll answer them as honestly as possible.
I don't think we have enough time to talk about my sexual prowess.
We may not. We could do a two-parter if we have to, because
or a three-parter.
Your penis is so big and it only fit in. It takes more than one episode. See, it's going past the screen into the next episode, just like that.
That's right. Yeah, because I have it tattooed. When under normal conditions it says PCHD, but when I'm aroused it says Pest Control Humor Depot. Log in on Facebook, my favorite group.
But what's the D at the end? Is that just penis?
Pest Control Humor Dickhole.
So get us your questions in.
Yep.
Facebook Messenger to either one of us. You can. I'm sure Brad will put up a post that you can ask them there. Just random questions. Doesn't matter what they're about. Ask us anything, and we'll answer. So get us questions however you want, by hook or by crook, by Western Union, by Pony Express, however.
Smoke signals also work.
Those do, and I am part Cherokee.
I can read smoke signals. I am fluent in smoke signals.
Your kind of smoke's a little different, though.
You damn right.
I got you.
Oh man. Okay, so
get us the hell out of here, man.
Yeah, I guess that wraps it up for us. Like I said, I'm out of bourbon, so I'm gonna go pop some corn. We're having popcorn for dinner tonight, Jack.
Pop it with bacon grease.
Popcorn and bacon grease. I have done bacon grease, but I have also found coconut oil does a really good job on it. And if you're going to pop popcorn and pour melted butter on it, let that butter get nice and dark before you do it. You will not be disappointed.
I saw a guy do it with the Texas Roadhouse butter, that cinnamon honey butter.
Fuck! Really?
Yeah. they'll give you a little cup of the butter. So just go and walk in there.
I have a
Get a cup of
copycat
the
recipe because I have a copycat recipe for their rolls and their butter.
Oh,
I don't have the rolls dialed in, but that butter is spot on. Man, putting that on popcorn—that's a fucking great
yeah.
idea.
But he popped it. He popped it in it. He melted it, put a little bit of oil, and then the butter, and popped it in the oil in that butter.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Jack's excited. Right. Hey guys, thanks as always for listening to us. If you like our podcast, please tell a friend. If you don't like our podcast, tell a friend anyway and say you wouldn't believe what the fucking garbage these guys are putting out. Either way, any publicity is good publicity. So
fucking pest posse.
Fucking name, fucking pest posse. Anyway, on behalf of Pest Pussy and on behalf of Jack and myself, on behalf of Tales from the Crawl Space podcast, Pest Control Humor Depot, my favorite group, Pest Control Designs, Spangler Art, we cordially invite you to bug off.
Bug off.